It was just the U of A, University of Arizona Wildcats lose this game 64 to the UCLA Bruins 66. It was just like yesterday with the UCLA Bruins against ASU. ASU was ahead by 15 points at one point, and then there was like 5 minutes left in the game. Then UCLA just turned on the burners and turned on the afterburners and ended up pulling out the victory and ended up winning that game by 5. But here, UCLA, Arizona's ahead by 11 points at one point, and then whenever there was 5 minutes left in the game, then afterburners came on and UCLA took over the lead, and they had a 2 point lead, but I don't think they got more than a 2 point lead the whole game. Well, they did get a 3 point lead actually. Sorry about that. They did get a three. UCLA did get a 3 point lead right there at the end because, but we Grant Jarrett answered that with a 3 pointer in the end. But anyway, but just UCLA was just too strong for us this time. I mean, what the University of Arizona Wildcats did was we put so much emphasis on trying to stop Larry Drew the second from making any impact in the game because from what I was looking at the previous games that the University of Arizona played against UCLA, the two previous games that we played against them this season, and Larry Drew the second had got he had got 9 assists in each one of those games. So he had got 9 assists in one game in the last game, and then he had got 9 assists uh, in the game before that against the University of Arizona Wildcats. So we were putting a lot of our emphasis on trying to squash Larry Drew the second and trying to contain him, trying to make him not make any contributions. And we did a pretty good job. I mean, he only had 6 assists this time, and he had 0 points. So uh, that's pretty awesome. We did contain him, but oh, someone else popped up. Jordan Adams popped up. I think we were we were thinking about somebody else. There was some other people that we're worried about, but it was Jordan Adams that he's really the one that won this game for UCLA. He scored 26 points, man. He only made 1 out of 5 from 3 point land, but his field goal percentage was fantastic, and he drew a ton of fouls on him. He ended up having 13 free throw attempts, taking 13 free throw attempts out of the UCLA's total 21 free throw attempts, and he made 11 of those 13 free throw attempts. That was one thing that kind of killed us. That kind of killed the University of Arizona Wildcats. Is we only had 9. We only took 9 total out of the whole game. 9 free throw attempts. And so we did pretty good. I mean, we shot 77%, so that's not too bad, you know. But and we made 7 of them, but it was just that was one of the things that killed us. And if you look at rebounds, I think it was the University of Arizona Wildcats out rebounded the UCLA Bruins 37-32. Uh, if you look at offensive rebounds, though, then the UCLA Bruins had a little bit of an advantage. They had 10 offensive rebounds, and we only and the University of Arizona Wildcats only had 8. So And you know, one thing, it's a bummer that we lost this game, but then at the same time, then I'm kind of glad that that Solomon Hill, our senior, was able to take that last shot, even though it didn't go in. You know, at least they let the senior take the shot, and you know, the remaining shot and the remaining shot attempt. Um, you know, one thing that was just crazy to me was that I mean, we at halftime we were ahead. The University of Arizona Wildcats were ahead on total rebounds. We were ahead on assists. We were ahead on blocks. Uh, we were, you know, the we were ahead on field goal percentage. Everything was doing pretty. 3 pointers, you know, big time ahead on 3 pointing attempts. I think they were 0% from 3 point land in the first half. So I think UCLA was 0% from 3 point land in the first half, and so you know eh, but we were only ahead by 4. You know, the University of Arizona Wildcats were only ahead by 4, so I couldn't really understand it. Why we were ahead by such a little amount, and we were just taking care of business all over the place, just crushing them and keeping Larry Drew down and but you know, it's like that. UCLA had two things that were really in their favor this game, and one of them was steals, and the other one, you know, of course, was Jordan Adams, and he really, really, really he carried this team. He's the one that made it so that UCLA Bruins were able to win this game. So, you know, we spent so much energy trying to contain Larry Drew the second that we left uh, Adams open, and Adams took advantage of us, and he ended up being the one that was able to win this game for the UCLA Bruins. So that's a bummer. The UCLA Bruins uh, I think they shot zero, they had 0% from 3 point land in the first half, and they only made one 3 pointer in the second half. So they had they shot 9%. They shot 9% from 3 point land, uh, but they ended up having 40% field goal percentage. And it was just the thing that was hard on the Wildcats was just the free throws. You know, University of Arizona Wildcats only had 9 free throw attempts, and UCLA Bruins had 21 free throw attempts. So that was a big thing, you know. And you know, Jordan Adams, he capitalized on it. He he won the game for him. You know, like I said before, like I've said many times before. Um, let's see. He was the only one that made the 3 pointer. You know, isn't that crazy? Uh, let's see. I can look at. Let me see. We we had more assists than they did. We had 16 assists, and where they had 14 assists. Uh, those assists really, Larry Drew the second really. I mean, I think he only had like a 2 assists or something like that in the first half, but in the second half he had 4 assists, and that's normally how many assists he gets, and Kyle Anderson had 4 assists too, and you know, there's that guy again, Jordan Adams, had 3 assists too. So, you know, they did a lot of teamwork in the second half, and that's why they were able to. That's why the UCLA Bruins, one of the other reasons why the UCLA Bruins were able to come out with a victory here. Um, let's see. points in the paint. University of Arizona had 32 points in the paint. The UCLA Bruins had 22 points in the paint. Um, the University of Arizona had 13 second chance points. They made 13 second chance points. The UCLA Bruins had 11 second chance points. There wasn't a whole lot that was there wasn't a whole lot that was pointing in the direction of UCLA is going to win this game. Uh, I guess another thing that showed for the UCLA Bruins was Caleb Zarzewski fouled out of the game. Solomon Hill had 3 fouls. Um, those were big ones. Although Larry Drew the second had 3 fouls, and I think the game before I think he had 0 fouls, and the one before that I think he had 1 foul against us. So you know, uh, it could have gone either way. They really could have gone either way, but it just it was just the fouls. Kevin Parham had how many fouls did Kevin Parham had? 3 fouls. Um, Mark Lyons had 1 foul. He shot 1 for 4 from 3-point land. So we kind of got to live and die by Mark Lyons. We piss and moan and we gripe about him not shooting too many 3-pointers. But then at the same time, then we really need to have his input uh, with those 3-point attempts. The U of A, University of Arizona Wildcats lose this game 64 to the UCLA Bruins 66.